Hello, this is Professor Rosalind Francis. I'm going to take you all through a brief tour of student projects that have been created here on our virtual island in Second Life. This is the Florida State College at Jacksonville Island. I'm going to fly us over to one of the first projects, and this was a book called Welfare Brat. For the sake of time, I may not wait during this presentation for objects as you see here to res in and become completely clear, because I am respectful of your time and I want to move quickly, so just a heads up there. But what a student did here is this is a book that we read for one of my online ENC 1102 courses, and they imaged in the book cover here. And if you click on it, you can walk inside the book. And what the students decided to create was a virtual maze of the main topics discussed in the book. And of course, as well, they covered some of these topics in their research papers. What you see here is a small child, because the protagonist in the book, Mary Childers, she is the young child who's growing up in welfare. So if we click here, we are literally teleported up in the sky to the maze, and it's immediately a black, dark space because they wanted to set the mood. You can click here on Mary Childers' avatar again. As you see in the lower left corner, she gives you directions as you move through the maze. Just for the sake of time, I won't take you all through the entire maze, but of course at any time if you would like the full tour, I would be more than happy to provide that to you. The students took favorite quotes from the book that they have used in their papers to analyze. They placed them here in this hallway, and this is a mirage. You can keep walking through it as you see here, and it goes more into a light space, trying, I guess, to change up the mood. I'll just go through a couple of rooms. As you can see here in this room, there's roaches here on the ground, and if you click on this one right here, he will say something to you. If I can get to him in time. I guess he's being quiet right now. But oh, there he goes. He says, ouch. Or get off me. It's funny. You can click on the images. And as you see here, it says go to page. You can go to the articles or web links that the students used in their research papers. This is how you could do it. This is how you bring to life the paper. You see how the process works. So actually, let me go ahead and exit this out so it doesn't play over us. You see floating text in here. This is just other ways that the students use to help things come to life. Again, we don't have time to wait for all the images to res here, but all of these are student links to what they did in their paper. And of course, we can keep going through the maze. I know, of course, the way out, but someone experiencing it for their first time, you would have that anxiety that the family felt. Not that the family went through a maze, of course, in their real life, but the anxiety of where they're going to find food, clothing for the school year, just all kinds of awful tragedies or obstacles the family had to overcome. Here's this, you can walk through the screen. And I didn't teach these students how to create these things. They would come up with this or build this on their own. I was truly amazed. If you've already looked at the PowerPoint slide, you saw this in an image, but now you can see here what it looks like when you walk around in this 3D environment. For the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and teleport back to the entrance to our college's island. And I'm going to take you all to another spot, another example. So there's the Welfare Brat maze that we just passed. This area of the island was when one of my classes read the book Maus 1 and Maus 2. It's about the Holocaust. It's a son of a survivor of the Holocaust. And this class, they worked in groups on their research papers to help them make their individual ones, but they had group themes. They had their own spaces, and unfortunately we can't keep every single project. So this was one of the best ones, and this one wasn't deleted. We've kept this one up as kind of one of our showpieces at the island when other faculty from other colleges come here and see what we've done. They've recreated a concentration camp area, and you can go in each one Now you see writing on the wall. And inside they've got, again, you can click on the image. They've got pieces here that were from the story. And the students could meet in here and do, role-playing activity. I mean, just the possibilities are endless on what you could do here with classes. I'm sorry if I'm going a little too fast here. They've got artifacts here on the table. It was just truly amazing. In the last room here, a really interesting technique they used. If you come inside, hopefully it'll res for us in time, the acid showers used during the Holocaust. If you click on this, you see here in the lower left corner the students added some text to go along with that. So definitely an interesting experience. Over here, the last part, and this is one of the first things that I was amazed by from what my students created. If it'll res in time, this is a picture of naked dead bodies from the Holocaust, and it's an open grave where they're about to burn all the bodies, and of course they've stripped them of their clothes and thrown their shoes to the side so they can reuse all of those artifacts for the next group of people on the trains. And what you see here on the ground is a student recreated bodies on the ground. You see the effects. Here's where the students walked by and they saw this. They're walking through this. This really had an effect on students. And as we're here having a class discussion about it, it was pretty overwhelming. Now again, I apologize. The picture will not res for us in time. It does res though. Let me take you to the last spot that I wanted to show all of you on this video tour. This is a sky area that we used, or are still using. And as you can see, as I'm going to let things kind of res while I'm here in the sky, each student had a spot that they recreated their research paper information. And this is where we would invite people from literally all over the world to come and walk around and literally walk through these students' presentations. And the students were there next to their presentation, answering questions or giving, just feedback about how they created their project and what they learned about it in the process. For example, this student for English Composition 2 read a book about the Salem witch trials, and as you can see here, he's created a grave site. Used a picture to create the effect of a grave site. You see to the right the witches hanging by a noose. He's got a fireplace here. This was definitely one of the better ones. Again, we can't wait for the picture here to res. Maybe it'll come in just in time. But what he has here, it's just the picture of the book cover. I told each student they had to include the picture of the book cover so we knew, what book they did their project on. I'm sure maybe many of you heard of the book A Long Way Gone, Memoirs of a Boy Soldier by Ishmael Beyah. And it's really interesting to see what students pull from the book and decide to recreate in a virtual setting. And of course, these are also instances that they refer to in their papers. So it's like making a 3D pop-up book of the work they're doing in class or the written work they're doing in class. Again, here in Second Life, you can link to YouTube videos. This house is, fully functional. I'll show you one more project, and of course there's many up here. I know we don't have time to go through all of them, but this student created a high school locker room. It was about the story of many young girls in an urban setting going through high school and the trials and tribulations they went through. And each locker is clickable, as you can see. There we go. And she has included, I believe, information about each of the students. And if I go into my inventory, then that's where you can read from the note card that I was just given. Then you can then read from pieces of her paper that she has included in each of these lockers. Thought that was really interesting. Again, if anyone in the committee would love a tour of more of these projects or to answer any other questions, I would be more than happy to. Thank you very much for your consideration.